Alrighty, Steeler Nation. Welcome back to Steeler Nation Australia. Man, we are 1 day away from Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals. Crazy, man. It's been a crazy time. It's been a crazy offseason. Omar Khan, Acrisure Stadium being changed from Heinz Field to Acrisure. Mitchell Trubisky being announced as quarterback number one. Kenny Pickett being, the quarterback in the draft. A lot of things are happening, right? A lot of things happening. So you guys know all that. We've been on the journey. If you've been following me here on Stillness Australia, if you do like my content, hit that sub, hit that like. If you're a returning viewer, would appreciate if you hit that sub as well. Would be fantastic. Trying to go hard in the paint, trying to do as much as I can while living, my life at the same time. And sometimes it's hard to balance content and talking Steelers and the life stuff too. But enough about that. Let's talk a little bit about the game. And before I talk about the game, I want to bring up an interesting point and something that I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, like how they reflect being a super class organization. So I read today that the Steelers will honor Dwayne Haskins by wearing number 3 decal on their helmets. And this to me is fantastic. We all heard the tragic news that happened this year. Apparently, he was crossing the highway. For some reason, we don't really overly know why, right? It doesn't matter. The why doesn't matter. But what matters is this young fella lost his life at the age of 25, and that's super crazy to me. The older I get, I appreciate life more and more and more and more, just by every day or whatever it is. So I I give big thanks to the Pittsburgh Steelers organization because this is what they exactly do. They do this things like this all the time, and this is what makes me proud to be a Steelers fan. So they will be honoring Dwayne Haskins, number 3, on their helmet throughout the whole season. And also, I think as well, I did read somewhere too that apparently Najee Harris, it might have been his idea, or so one of the players. I think it was Najee Harris' idea to maybe push it forward even more, so they would go and honor Dwayne Haskins because it did happen. It has happened. It's been a long time now, 6 months or so since the event occurred. And the Steelers want to give something back to Haskins' family and pay honor to him this season. And it's a small little touch that goes a long way. So shout out to the Steelers organization and for honoring Dwayne Haskins this season in 2022. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have their first opponent being the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1. And every single person in the media, I'm going to start with this first because I still can't get over it. And then I'll go into the game. I still can't get over, I still have the graphic here. Every single media member are choosing the Cincinnati Bengals to win. And this puts the Pittsburgh Steelers in a really good position. They are the underdog in this game, and they are the underdog in the 2022 season. The Pittsburgh Steelers are definitely the underdog this season. And what better way to start out than to verse your rival, who you have a 16-5 record at Paycor Stadium. Okay. Now, those are all the fancy things. Those are all like the history, the stat line, stuff like that. But let's get into the nuts and bolts of the game and what I think I'm looking forward to, previewing and stuff like that. First of all, I want to start with the offense because that's where it's a good starting point. Trubisky is playing in this game. Now, as fans, and I know we're going to hear it more when we come back home to Acrisure, right? But as fans, don't give up on Trubisky straight away. When you see him throw an incompletion pass, when you see him throw an interception, when you see him fumble the football, because it's going to happen, right? It's football. These things happen. Don't give up on Trubisky right away. Okay. Now, for me, I wasn't a big fan of Trubisky coming to the organization. I thought his play was quite poor with the Bears, and he really didn't do anything with the Bills. He sat behind Josh Allen and just had a year off to take everything in, or more or less start again. However, I'm excited at what I want to see with Trubisky. I think if we can hold him up on the offensive line, I think if the offensive line can give him 3 or 4 seconds and like do their job, pass protect. That's what they're there to do. You can go into it like I'm not an offensive line guy. You can go into all the skills, but at the end of the day, they're there to hold someone up. The other man trying to attack the quarterback, hold them up long enough So Trubisky can move around the pocket and find his target downfield, or find his target that is sweet and short on a slant route or something like that. The offensive line needs to go and do their job. That's clean and simple. Pretty much that's all it is. And if they can do that, I think it gives Trubisky some time in the pocket and a chance at winning this game and having a good season. But if we are to focus on this game, if the offensive line can hold up the Bengals, defensive line from coming downhill and wrecking havoc and getting all over, then we have a chance. Start to push that ball out to Pickens, Deontay. Deontay's healthy now as well. Deontay came off I think he's off the injury report. He seems to be healthy. Sure, there's going to be bruises and stuff like that. There's always bruises throughout the season. Claypool's back in there. Pickens, I'm looking at for Pickens too. I can't wait to see what Pickens can do. If he can mesh with his receivers quite well, then we can also have a chance to run the football. In this game too, on the offensive side, I can't wait to see Najee. I'm pretty keen to see what Najee can do in his second year. He's now a captain as well. Trubisky is a captain, and so is Najee. Two captains on the offense like that, getting ready to put all the negativity aside and do what you're meant to do. Hold that football, run for a first down, and run over some Bengals. I think Najee is going to be very key to this game. And for a stat line, I'm hoping to see, above 80 yards, maybe hopefully 100 yards, if we can. That might be the key to success, is run the football with Najee, 25 carries or so, first downs, touchdowns, and push the Bengals on the back foot. Also key to this game too, I think, will be the second running back. Jaylen Warren, I believe in this game, will get about 4 to 8 carries and hopefully provide some splash plays where they're getting us out of second and longs or third and fourth conversions. I think he'll be key to this game as well. The running game all starts with that push up front. And I'm hopefully the fellas, the O-line guys, can get together and become a unit and push all the bad stuff behind. And also, it's only been preseason. It's only week 1. So let's not throw them under the bus right away. Okay. So this is an exciting game for Trubisky. It's an exciting game for Najee Harris. An exciting game for some of the rookies like George Pickens. Let's be honest. It's Steelers versus Bengals. It's like a new rivalry, even though the Bengals haven't done anything in 30 years, and now they're just under the ash from the ashes. They're putting their hand up and starting to do something, winning 3 in a row. So it's quite an important game too. It's a very important game for the Steelers because they don't want to go and lose 4-0. Also, in the 2022 season, you don't want to lose your first game, nor do you want to lose a game against a division rival. It gives them a competitor's edge at the end of the season. Being AFC North football, the Bengals already have 1, and last year they had 2. They won 2 in a row. That's quite important. Let's move to the defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The defense this year, I think, is going to be fantastic. TJ Watt, Highsmith, all those fellas. But what I think is key for this game, actually, of course, we're going to see TJ Watt out there healthy. He'll be chasing down Joe Burrow. He'll have a fire in his heart to run and pick on little Burrow. You know what I'm saying? Really get after him. Like, we're going to see that. It's going to happen over the first quarter to the fourth quarter. But what I'm keen for as well in this game is I'm kind of keen for the defensive line rotation. You'll have Cameron Hayward, Tyson Alualu. Will we see Alualu of past? It's probably his last year or two, maybe his last year with the Steelers. He's about 14 years in the league. I don't think he'll be playing all the time. I don't think that Alualu plays, 80% to 90%. He's going to be a guy that's going to be in the defensive line rotation. Now, is that going to be, the other nose tackle? What's his name? I can't remember his name. Montravius Adams, or who be coming in? Guys like that. Do we see a DeMarvin Leal in there? In spurring moments. Do we see Chris Wormley change up? Do we see Isaiah Loudermilk come from the second year? I'm keen to see what happens with this defensive line rotation to try and keep fresh bodies out there in personnel situations where they can stop the run. Because on the other side of the football, Joe Mixon is going to tear it up. He's a fantastic running back. And once the Bengals start to run the football, getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards a carry, it's going to be very hard to stop. Very hard to stop. So To me, the battle of this game is in the trenches, but it's like their running back versus our defense. That's what I see where it's really going to be hard to, if we can't stop, the Steelers can't stop Joe Mixon, that's going to be a crazy time. That's going to be super, super difficult to do. However, I believe with the addition with Ogunjobi, Hayward becoming, even more than a veteran presence than what he is than last year, and his captain and getting his fellas ready, I believe that the Steelers D line is different this year. I believe that, but that is known to be seen what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, right? Now, heading into also the defense, middle linebackers, and like I said, outside linebackers. We have Highsmith coming off an injury. Do we see Malik Reed in certain spots too? So we want to see, Highsmith out there. Coach Tomlin did talk about seeing Highsmith will play. That's probably going to be a guarantee. He didn't say that he was going to be out. Now, will Malik Reed come in, spurring spots? Do we see Jameer Jones in spurring spots? Also, middle linebacker rotation as well. You have Devin Bush, you have Miles Jack. Those are our starters. But do we see in certain packages, do we see Robert Spillane come in there? Do we even sniff an idea of Mark Robinson? Maybe he plays in certain downs, but maybe not. Maybe he's more of a special teams guy, right? Devin Bush, I think Miles Jack will also be key for this game. This is the point for me for Devin Bush. You have to go in there, be physical and start to play like you want to play for the Steelers. We've seen it with Miles Jack. Miles Jack wants to play for the Steelers. He really does. You can see with his mannerisms, you can see how the way he tackles, see how the way he runs into the line, and he's not hesitant. Whereas Devin Bush is hesitant. Okay. Now, the last part. Cornerbacks and secondary. I do like this secondary. Of course, we have the injury to DeMonte Kazi. That's quite upsetting, I think, for this defense. I thought Kazi was going to be fantastic. He still has a chance to come back off IR, maybe past week 5, week 6, depending how it goes with, I think he broke his wrist. So I wanted to see Kazi in there straight away. However, I think Trey Norwood will fill into his role when they go into 3 set safeties, Edmonds, Minka, and Trey Norwood, like that style, okay? With a spoon on the edge, Levi Wallace, I believe, might be out there too. But we're going to see who are going to be the quarterback number 1s and 2s. And then we have the veteran leadership that is Cameron Sutton. And also that slot kind of nickel guy, Arthur Millette, is going to be in there too. But what I'm keen for most of all this game in the secondary is the old heads, Terrell Edmonds and Minka Fitzpatrick. I think these fellas are ready, man. Terrell Edmonds thought about, possibly signing with other teams. He had a chance to go on the free agent market, decided to come back to the Steelers for 1 year, and more or less like, okay, I'm going to play for the Steelers for 1 year, prove it deal. If I can play really well, maybe he might get, gain interest from other teams. However, if he plays really well and the Steelers like him, maybe the Steelers, give him an offer too. Terrell Edmonds and Minka play really well together. Terrell Edmonds can go down the box, make the big tackles. Also, Minka can do that too. Minka led the tackles last year, I think, with 100 and something tackles, right? But what I want to see this year, and in this game also, because you have Jamar Chase, Tyler Higgins? I think his name, or no, T Higgins, Tyler Boyd, those receivers. They're going to be trying to get open. Joe Burrow wants to try and link up 30, 40, 50 yards downfield. But what I feel in this game is if the Steelers are ready, I think Minka Fitzpatrick is going to be all over the field. Like, I think he's going to command the defense. He's going to talk to Miles Jack, who Miles Jack's going to be talking to TJ. Those 3 fellas will be talking together all over the shop. And when they're talking together, I believe that communication will be key for this defense. Of course, the big hits, but you don't want someone to go over the top of you like a Jamar Chase. You don't want that to happen. I bet you're waiting for my prediction. So I've been saying it all week with this game, Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals, 1 p.m., my 3 a.m. I will be live streaming because I'm crazy. And here's my prediction. I'm still a homer. I'm a Homer Simpson, but and I'm biased. But I believe the Steelers have a chance in this game. I think if we can rock Joe Burrow enough, we can slow down the run, it becomes a 50-50 game. And then with a 50-50 game, I believe Chris Boswell plays quite a role with the Steelers and maybe the result. I have the Steelers winning this game 23-21. So the Bengals go and score 3 touchdowns, possibly via Joe Burrow, right? And I thought about this. Maybe they should have a field goal because they have quite a good field goal unit. But I'm sticking with my score: 23 Steelers and Bengals 21. In the comments below, if you made it this far, let me know your score prediction below, and I will put a tab up saying score prediction. You can use that pinned comment. You can write another comment. You can say go Steelers. You can write as many comments as you want. But in this game for week 1, I'm ready for football. I'm keen to see Najee run over someone. I'm keen to see Trubisky throw a pass to Pickens and he can run over someone. And I'm keen to see TJ Watt and Minka and that, top tier defense with all the playmakers come together as a unit and rock the absolute house that is Paycor Stadium, right? Or Paul Brown Stadium. Go in there, make some noise, and prove every single one of these people wrong. Gordon to rank every single one of these people wrong, right? They can cut the ribbon all they want, but this Paycor Stadium is Pittsburgh Steelers' second home, pretty much. It's their home. We've been winning there for a very long time, and I don't see why Sunday should be any different. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening to a very long episode of the Steelers versus Bengals preview. I do appreciate all the likes, the comments, and people who do subscribe to the channel. If you do like the content, hit that sub, hit that like. Anyways, guys, here we go, Steelers. Here we